HP Spectre x360 13aw0205tu, late 2019, review. It's been a long wait for Intel's 10nm processors to show up in products we can buy, and now we have with us the latest revision of the HP Spectre x360, a premium, ultra-slim 2-in-1 laptop that features a 10th General Intel Core i7-1065G7 CPU from the 10nm Ice Lake family. We reviewed the previous generation of this laptop in mid-2019, and not much has changed apart from the internal hardware, so it will be interesting to compare the two. The new HP Spectre x360 13aw0205tu is a 2-in-1 with an integrated LTE data modem. It claims to offer extraordinary design, class-leading battery life, and of course plenty of processing power. HP Spectre x360 13aw0205tu, late 2019, design. The sharp, angular look and the warm copper gold accents of the previous generation Spectre x360 have been retained, with a few refinements. We aren't really fans of sharp edges and corners on portable devices, but the Spectre x360 13 certainly has a unique personality. It also isn't too uncomfortable to carry around or use as a laptop or tablet, which we had worried about at first. When folded back fully in tablet mode, the two halves of this laptop don't sit perfectly flat against each other. It isn't very easy to hold this device as a tablet because all those angled edges that line up so nicely when the laptop is closed are in exactly the opposite position, creating a big gap. The Spectre x360 X13 exhausts hot air through a slit between its hinges, which is unfortunately where your palm is likely be because this is the best way to hold the unit. It won't be a problem when doing something casual like reading a web page, but touchscreen games are a different story. The Spectre x360 13 isn't very easy to hold and use as a tablet. There's a webcam in its natural position above the screen, plus an IR sensor for Windows Hello face recognition. On the lower deck, the keyboard stretches across the entire width of this laptop, and we're happy to note that the layout isn't cramped at all. There's a column of dedicated paging keys, which is impressive considering how compact this laptop is. It's necessary to protect the keyboard when using this device with the base folded facing downwards, in what's usually called stand mode, but it does slightly get in the way. Our palms rested on the front edge of the Spectre x360 13 when typing, but it wasn't uncomfortable. We wish there weren't so many stickers on the wrist rest though, they do slightly cheapen the look of this laptop. The power button is on the upper left corner cutout, next to the hinge. This is highly unusual but makes sense because you can get to it whether the device is being used as a laptop or tablet. Next to that, you'll find a nano SIM tray if you choose a version of this laptop with LTE data. There are also two Thunderbolt 3, 40 gigabits per second, Type-C ports on the right, one mounted diagonally on the upper right corner cutout, both of which support power delivery and DisplayPort video output. Every time you notice a new detail or look at the Spectre x360 13 from a different angle, you'll be impressed by the design, materials, and construction quality that HP has pulled off here. For this price, you get an Intel Core i7-1065G7 CPU, 16GB of RAM, a 512GB SSD, and integrated LTE. This is the only variant currently listed by HP in India with LTE. The chip in question here is based on Intel's more modern Ice Lake 10nm architecture, whereas other laptop CPUs also marketed as 10th generation use the 14nm Comet Lake architecture. Ice Lake stands apart primarily for its support for AI acceleration and the beefy Iris Plus Gen 11 integrated GPU. Intel also promises improved power efficiency and more modern connectivity standards, plus the usual generational performance bump. The G7 suffix indicates that this CPU features 64 GPU execution units, which is the most powerful graphics configuration in the lineup. Here too, you get more modern standards for hardware video encoding, variable rate shading, and adaptive sync than you would with 10th General Comet Lake processors. The keyboard layout is generous, but the trackpad and wrist rests are relatively small. HP Spectre x360 13aw0205tu, late 2019, performance. Although this is a super premium laptop, what you get in this segment is portability and style more than raw performance. This is a pleasant laptop to get work done on. One thing to note is how quickly it resumed from sleep when we flipped the lid open. The keyboard is comfortable and takes no time to get used to, and the trackpad gave us no trouble despite being a little vertically constrained. Fingerprint and face recognition do make life easier, and there's nothing like having a standard USB port on such a portable device. The most compelling feature of the Spectre x360 13 for us is integrated LTE, and we don't know why this isn't more common on laptops. Benchmarks showed good performance figures for a thin and light laptop. The two USB Type-C ports, webcam kill switch, and microSD slot are on the right. We weren't able to run any heavy games. Rise of the Tomb Raider, which isn't too demanding, repeatedly crashed while loading. This isn't usually a problem for casual use, but random background processes might suddenly cause a spike which is distracting. We used LTE data for about half an hour, and the rest of the time we had an active Wi-Fi connection and spent most of our time typing documents, streaming music and video, and reading web pages. The HP Spectre x360 13 is extremely compact and relatively powerful. The brand new 10th Gen Intel Ice Lake processor is a welcome upgrade, especially in terms of battery life and graphics power, but it doesn't exactly bring about a revolutionary leap in performance, at least in this case. While we do appreciate a touchscreen and 360-degree hinge, this isn't a comfortable device to use as a tablet. The design is excellent for a laptop and almost nothing has been compromised in terms of usability. It's just not as practical as an iPad or Android tablet when folded back all the way. That said, the Spectre x360 13 looks unique and is undoubtedly high-end, with excellent construction quality and finishes everywhere. The keyboard and trackpad are both very good, the screen is more than adequate, and we love having a full-sized USB port. HP has made a different set of trade-offs compared to Dell with its XPS 13, the most obvious competitor to the Spectre x360 13.